This Kie Fair 929, and I just jumped off the porch with dirty gloves back.
When you was in school and the teacher gave you a test, she was quiet. She sat back and watched.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. We got Kie Fair jumping off the porch with us today. What's up, bro?
What's going on, bro? How you?
Man, I'm great, bro. I can't complain. How about you? How you feeling, man?
Good, man. You know, Atlanta's Atlanta. Got my guys with me. Between us three, probably about a good 20, 30 years of solid friendship.
Word, that's what's up, bro. And who you brought with you, man? Who you got on the porch with you today?
So start with my guy back here. That's Elu. He's the person that introduced me to music.
Okay.
And when I say definition of a solid friend, like we're not even friends no more, that's my brother. Right? Then I got my man Leavee. We got business, that's my business partner, but then also my other ear, my set of ear.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, man, I had to bring some good energy with me.
Yeah, nah, that's what's up. That's what's up. And you coming to us from Washington, D.C., right?
Yeah, born and raised in D.C., but my heart has been in the South. I mean, you know, from Houston, I always listened to screw music. I grew up on UGK.
Okay.
You know, of course, Outkast and all that in Atlanta. So, you know, I always got a different ear for music.
Yeah.
But,
all right.
yeah.
Nah, that's what's up, man. And I feel like DC is an interesting place because, I mean, it's considered the East Coast, but like how you said, like how a lot of your influences in music, you know, come from the South. I feel like DC has like that good combination of East Coast, but then it also has like a Southern feel, even a Midwest feel. Like I'm from the Midwest, so you know what I mean. Just that vibe, that energy. Like it's not like how when you go to New York and people moving too fast to talk to you and deal with you, and you know what I mean. Like
Right.
it's a dope vibe there.
No, it is. I mean, if you ask anybody in DC, where does our music influence come from? Yeah, we gravitated to New York, but our hearts was with, you know, down south, from Scarface to all of the greats.
Yeah.
Even now, you know, even the young boys. So yeah, it's definitely in the South.
Word. Now I can dig it, man. And so, would you say you're a motivational speaker? Like, what would you? How would you categorize yourself? You know, because I see you on your gram, like doing the Monday motivations, and you know, you're always like kicking, you know, some dope game, like some stuff that people really need to hear, man. Some motivation.
No, I definitely consider myself a motivational speaker, but also at the same time, I'm just speaking realness. I'm just speaking facts.
Yeah.
Stuff that I've gone through, stuff that my guys have gone through, and I think right now we're at a place in the world where we need motivation, right? I mean, you can find any negative, that's easy, but we need motivation, from women to young boys to older men. We all need motivation, and so I just speak from experience and just speak with the heart.
Word. Nah, that's what's up, man. And how's Atlanta been treating you since you've been here, bro?
Oh no, I love Atlanta. It's not my first rodeo here.
Okay.
in Atlanta. I love Atlanta. I've been here a few times, had a nice run in 06, 05 and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that traffic, man.
man. That traffic crazy.
Yeah,
It's like no matter what time, unless you early in the morning or late at night. But daytime is just traffic, man. But you know.
Yeah, nah, it's crazy, man. Like, I mean, I'm definitely a transplant, so you know, I can't talk, you know, too much. You know, the people that's from here in Atlanta, you know, they be saying Atlanta closed, like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't want no more people in here. You know
Right, because everybody's from coming down to Atlanta.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
Yeah.
Nah. So you also you do mentorship, business consulting, and how'd you even get into that?
So the crazy thing was, I never thought that my story was something that can be relevant to the youngins. And so I was invited one day to go and speak to the young boys, and one of my gifts is to be able to pick up on energy, right? Like coming from the streets, being around stuff, you can see things, your stomach will start hurting when certain things ain't right. And so when I walked in one time to talk to the young boys, it was a young boy sitting off in the corner with his hood on his head. And I was like, man, something ain't right with him. And so when I walked over to him, just started talking to him, and couldn't find out the night before he came to that class, he tried to commit suicide.
Oh, wow.
And so just me pouring into him and telling him my life story, because at that time my life was crazy, you know. And so I was just being honest with him. And before I knew it, he perked up, and now that same person, that same young boy, he cut hair, he's always smiling, and you know, he'll send me DMs like, man, you saved my life that day, you know. And so from there on out, I was like, man, I think I need to use my gift of gab for the right reasons as opposed to the wrong thing.
Word. You that was a moment where you like saw your purpose.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So let's tap into your story, man. So being from DC, what was life like for you growing up, man?
So I was one of those guys that didn't have to, since we on the porch, didn't have to jump off the porch, right? I'm not gonna sit here and come up with no fake story. Nah, my mother and father, they got divorced, but I chose to do certain things because at that time it was cool to do.
Yeah.
Not knowing that there's a difference between a street nigga and a nigga that's in the streets, right? I was just a nigga in the streets. And then, you know, me and my guy back here, I know, we can talk about it, right? We done did some shit together with that. I mean, that's why we got such a bond, because we both grew up as men and changed our life. But, you know, when we was running around doing dumb shit, it was just not knowing how much danger we was in every day, right? And then it wasn't until I was put in a situation a number of times where I had to defend myself, I had to, you know, be quick on my feet and things like that. And I'm like, God damn, I'm really in the streets, right? And then when you come across a street nigga that will really live for this, like that's what they do. There is no changing, that's in their blood, that's what they're gonna do. And it's like, nah, this ain't me. This ain't me. And luckily, you know, I was able to change my life. I mean, of course, I had to leave the streets with a felony, but that ain't the end of the road.
Yeah. And what would you say drove you, you know, to wanting to be a part of the street life? Like what, you know, what was influencing you at the time to, you know,
it was
want to tap into that?
It was the money, the respect. I mean, you know, at that time, watching how, you know, my OGs at that time, watching how much respect they got, the girls was on them. I mean, you know, it was just the dope boy shit, just seeing it, and so I wanted that. I wanted it, you know what I mean? And the only way I can do it, how I can get that, was to be around that. And then I didn't know, like, on the outside, they paint a good picture for you there, right? It's like, oh yeah, the streets is cool. People love you, you got your niggas, you know, everything cool.
Yeah.
They don't tell you the other side. Then when you start getting money, your man right beside you might be the one that's gonna kill you, right? They don't tell you that. And so, just being in that environment, man, and seeing that, and that's why today, like me, at first I ain't like when people say, man, you what's up, hump? I didn't like that type, right? I didn't like it. But back then, my OGs, all they did was give me bricks. I had my first brick at 19 years old, on the arm. I didn't know what it was, right? But that was my OG. Instead of telling me, nah, man, invest in this and do something, he gave me a brick. And that type of money will change you.
Nah, for sure. And especially being able to get it that fast.
Yes.
You know, because you looking at folks, you know, having jobs and doing it the right way, and they might have multiple jobs and still be struggling, but you see the cat up the street with the nice whip, the girls, the clothes, all of that, and seeing that he getting it fast.
Yeah.
And that's more enticing than, you know, taking the long road.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I tell people all the time, there's no different from the person we laugh at that's addicted to the drugs, addicted to dope, coke, whatever it is, their addiction, right? But when you're in the streets, you're addicted too. You're addicted to the power, the respect, the money, and it's hard to shake that. When you go from being in that and now being legal, whether you got a 9 to 5, you got to juggle 2 weeks to get paid, or you in real estate, which I did, and you not getting a check every day, you got to keep hustling until you finally sell the house or flip the house, whatever it is. You go from being able to touch that money constantly to having to wait on money. And so that's a hard addiction to shake.
Yeah. When you were coming up, did you have like any big homies or any mentors that were, you know, maybe trying to influence you to move in a different direction than that direction that you went?
Nah, all my OGs, like I said, man, once I got rid of that first whole one, it was, oh, you can do that? Well then, all right, well, here's this. And then it was like, oh, wait a minute, man, you didn't sold this, so now you got to start paying. And then that's when I started learning about losses, because now you up and you start putting people on, and now you taking losses, and then the Connect don't want to hear nothing about that.
Yeah.
Nah, I gave it to you. And so as I realized in the streets, man, God ain't want me to be great in the streets. I was good. I made money. I remember my most amount of money I ever counted in my life was one time was like 300,000 cash, right? But God ain't want me to be great in it. Because if I would have been great in it, there's no telling. I probably wouldn't be sitting on this porch right now, right? But now I got more stuff, more cars, more money. I can go to sleep, comfortably, legally, than when I thought I was doing something when I was in the streets. And that's what I tell the young boys, like, nigga, I ain't telling you don't do it. I'm just telling you what I went through. And hopefully I can plant a seed in your head and, open up your conscience.
Nah, for sure. At what point would you say you jumped off the porch?
Damn, what was that? We was in high school, wasn't we?
16.
Yeah, that was high school. Yeah. We was selling weed.
Yeah.
Selling weed. We had our first gun, and you know what I'm saying? And it was just fun to do at that time. We wasn't really even making no real money, but we had money in our pocket, right? But yeah, it's like, damn, 16, that shit sound bad, man, when you really think about it.
Yeah, it
It do, right?
Hell yeah.
Having both parents in the house, what were some things that they were trying to influence you, to do? What direction were they trying? I mean, of course, I would know and I would assume the positive direction, but meaning, like, what were some things that maybe even they were doing that could have influenced you, on the positive side of things? Like,
No, my mother and my father, they were together until I got into the 9th grade of high school, and they got a divorce.
Okay.
And then my mother was always an entrepreneur.
Gotcha.
So she was like, you need to figure out a way to make some money. So then she got me to I was selling candy.
Gotcha.
She would give me a big duffel bag. I'm telling my age now, but this was Price Club. And she would go buy all the blow pops and all that, and I would come in, I got the duffel bag, and I'm selling candy. But now I got me a little bankroll, so now I can play tunk with the hustlers. So then I started getting good playing tunk, and then now all of a sudden the hustlers like, hey man, you the candy nigga. Yeah. Hey, come in the bathroom. We go in the bathroom now, they shooting dice.
Yeah.
So then, I'm like, all right, let me shoot dice with y'all. And they're like, man, we paying $100 a roll. I'm like, my bankroll at the time was only like $250. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, I'll sit there and watch.
Yeah.
But that's when I learned about side betting. So then that's when I started seeing the real hustlers. Cause I mean, at high school, these niggas pulling up in Z's and, the base, you can hit them a mile away. And it was like, damn, I want that. I want that respect.
Yeah. Like I was saying before, when you see that, when you see the OGs getting that respect, getting the women, looking like they living this extravagant life, you're not knowing the anxiety that they living with.
Facts.
You're not knowing, like how they have to, look over their shoulder every couple of minutes, because you just, especially starting out from an innocent point of view, you just don't know none of that. And I'm sure none of them are schooling you to that side of the game.
No, they not. I remember the one of my closest dudes I got close to back in high school, man, this is when polo was polo. Man, I'm talking about, every polo. He was I'm like, God damn, man, like the teddy bear, like the stuff you couldn't really get. And then he was gone for like 3 weeks, almost a month. Everybody's like, man, what happened? And he come back in a wheelchair because somebody robbed him and they shot him in the back and he was paralyzed, period, for life.
Yeah.
Still fresh though. Still got, you know what I mean? And we used to talk about it because you're like, man, how you get a scuff mark on your polo boots and you can't even walk? So you know what I'm saying? We used to talk about all that, but he was fresh as shit, man. Yeah. And that was the only OG back then that said, man, this lifestyle ain't what it's all cracked up to be, young. He's like, I'm telling you, but if you get into it, just know what come with it. And that's when he started telling me. But at that time, my mind was like, man, that ain't gonna happen to me. And you just think about the money.
Word. Lenny, do you remember, first meeting Kai and how you guys connected?
Yeah, so I definitely met him first. So all of us, back then, all of us had record labels. They had a record label, and I had a record label back then. And I met, I don't know, I met you through P? Yeah. So I met him through his brother P, and we just connected. And so he was with them, and that's how I met Kai.
Okay.
Doing music.
Word. And what side of the music, are you in? Like, do you produce, or you know what I mean? Like what?
Back then, I was mainly just rapping.
Okay.
Just rapping back then. As it moved forward, I started producing music. Yeah.
Word. No, I can dig it. Kai, what would you say was the turning point that made you decide that the route that you were going on wasn't the route that you wanted to
Man,
continue to go on?
It was one day, man. It started to get crazy. I'll never forget. This was like 2015, and my young boy I was messing with at the time, man, we was getting so many. It was ridiculous. Like, we were just catching them, and to the point where it was so good that I would bring it down to D.C. and get it off in less than an hour, a whole joint. And that's why when some people are like, man, you know how to cook? Then I'm like, bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, I never cooked up nothing a day in my life because I never had to go that low.
Gotcha.
It was always, if you get it, and that's it. And so one day, I'm sitting at a light, and I'm in my truck, and I probably got probably a little over, probably almost a whole thing of dope, half a thing of white, pistol, money. I'm just sitting at the light, and I'm just like, bro, you really gonna do this for the rest of your life? And it just started clicking. But the crazy thing about it was, I'm sitting at the light. It felt like 5 minutes that I was sitting at the light. I'm waiting on it to turn green. And then when I looked up in the rear view, I had county police behind me. So I made the left, and I'm driving. They followed me the whole time. So I called one of my guys that's a police officer, and I hit him. I said, man, listen, man, I got the police behind me. What should I do? And he told me, like, man, you get pulled over, don't let them come to you. Like, once you get out of the car, just take off. And so when I started driving, and then they was following me, and the next thing I know, he went on the side of me, looked at me, and left. So I called my guy back and said, man, he stopped following me. He just looked at me and left. He said, that's because he ran your tags, and it's a case pending on you. And they saying, don't spook you. And so that night, I had a yard sale on drugs. I mean, shit you couldn't even understand. I'm telling man, hey, if you want this, come to the house. The door gonna be open. I'm on the honor system. I'm like, bro, my truck gonna be at the top of the parking garage. Listen, you come this, leave that here. He's like, for that much? I'm like, bro, I need everything gone. I got rid of everything, guns, everything. Went underground. And 6 months later, they kicked the door in. I was at my mother's house one night, didn't feel like driving home, and I told them, oh, let me just come lay at the house. I'm too tired to drive home. The next thing I know, I woke up, they kicked the door in.
At mom's house?
At mom's house. And it was something out of a movie, because there's something about Mom Duke's house. Like, when you go to Mom Duke's house, you sleep the best.
Yeah, for sure.
I was in a coma. I'm like, you know what I mean? And when I heard it, I thought I was dreaming. I'm like, nah, because they kick in, boom. And I was like, huh? And I was like, for me? And they come down with the big ARs, big cock strong, you know what I mean? Scared the shit out of me, I ain't gonna lie. And he snatched the covers off, and you know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, we got a warrant for your arrest for this. And I said, what? And they showed me the paperwork, and then kind of find out the whole time that I was helping this one dude, he was working for the police. So they had all this info on me.
Wow.
And so at that time, took me to jail, and I was like, I wish I would have gone to jail sooner, because that was the most degrading situation ever in life. Just to be there, they tell me bend over, get stripped butt naked and all this, and that right there. I happened to come into jail when there was a situation going on. So there was 23 hours lockdown and 1 hour out and 2 showers for the whole week. and I'm in there, and out of like 100 and something sales, my sale was the only sale that had a book about God in it. And everybody else was begging somebody, hey, man, bring me a book, because you're trying to escape where you at. You need to read something. You know what I'm saying? And man, I read that book from front to back, back to front. You know what I mean? I hadn't been able to get on the phones. I ain't talked to nobody. Shit was just, it clicked. And when I finally got a chance to talk to everybody, and I talked to my daughter, that's what hit me the hardest. Because at that point in my life, no matter where I was at, me and my daughter would say our prayers at 10:30 at night. That's what time she go to bed. So wherever, I don't care if I'm in the club, I'm anywhere. I can be with a jump. Hey, hold up, let me talk to my daughter right quick. And when I couldn't talk to her, it clicked. And when I got out of there, man, it was like, Mom Dukes, she picked me up. My mother, G, man, she I love her, man. She was like, did you do it? I was like, yeah, man, I did do those things, but I changed my life since then. And she was like, all right, we ain't gotta talk about it no more. And you know what I'm saying? So that's why, you know, this dude here, like, eventually y'all be able to hear his story, but like, man, my man did 17 years straight, right? And so I got another dude I talked to, my man Tez, he went in at 18, he did 14, he's still in right now, still gotta walk down 10. You know what I mean? So that's why I talk to these youngins, I'm like, bro, you really ready to give up your whole life for a couple of summers or 3 summers of balling? Or for some niggas that they claim they love you and they don't really love you? That's fake love. Yeah. You know what I mean? An OG shouldn't be able to, if you got that much influence on these youngins, why are you telling them to go crash out and do some dumb shit while you sit back in your house and you safe? That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like none of these stories, you know, have like that fairy tale, you know, where it's like, okay, I did this, got away with it, was good, and now I'm prospering in this new business doing this. Like a majority of these stories have, you know, like the same outcome to it.
Yeah, so it just clicked for me, man. And then a lot of us think that because you got a connection with God, that it makes you soft, it makes you a sucker. Like, bruh, how we maneuver through life, ain't nothing but God. My car been shot up multiple times. I've been robbed at gunpoint. Ain't nothing hit me. Now, when I think back on that, I'm like, man, that was God that had me in a situation to be here to help talk to the youngins. So that's why I talk over beats, because most youngins ain't gonna pick up a book.
Right.
But they will listen to a beat that's good, and they will listen. And so that's what I'm here doing.
Right. And I know moms had them prayers going strong.
Facts.
You know, mama gonna pray, boy.
Yeah, we alive today because of them old prayers, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, not to get too sentimental, but like my man back here, I mean, you mind if I talk about it, bro? No, not. You talking about somebody back then when we was in the streets, you talking about his own father was on drugs. Right? Like this man had to go fight the drug, you know, the niggas around the corner to take his car back because Pops gave up his car to get some shit. Yeah. So the same shit that we selling Pops on, but he loved his father. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these youngins really gotta understand, like, man, it's another way, and that's why, like today, the shit I got on and all, I ain't even had this amount of jewelry when I was illegal. Yeah. But now I'm legal and it feel good, and that's why I come in and I'm able to talk to these youngins like, listen, I did what you did, right? I got what you want, but I got it another way. And that's the difference between the OGs, because a lot of the OGs don't look good, right? So if you're a youngin, and I'm sitting there like, nah, man, don't do that, man, you need to do it. You looking at me like, man, you look terrible. Fuck, I'm gonna listen to you for? Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. What knowledge I'm gonna listen to you? Man, get the fuck, nigga. I got more in my pocket than you ever had in your life. So you can't tell me to do this and it ain't working for you. You know what I mean? So that's where I come in. That's why I'm more relatable to the youngin.
And I think something that's not, you know, spoken about enough is, you know, we take these chances, you know, and we use the excuse of, you know, I'm doing this to survive. I'm doing this to, you know, further my family and things like that. But then not understanding, or maybe not wanting to understand, that we're also poisoning other families, people that look just like us. You know, you hear some rappers even talking about I sold to my auntie, or you know, whatever. And you know, just not understanding that we're poisoning our own people with this for our own come up.
Bro, when I talk to the youngins, I tell them, like, man, some of the smartest people in the world are street niggas. Y'all, because we can't teach what we know. This is all going through it and learning it, freestyling it through life. Right? I can go to college, I can go to Yale, I can go to all these colleges and learn what you learn. But you can't learn what I mean because you ain't had these experiences. But at the same time, like, bro, street niggas, when we first started out, when we was doing what we was doing, and my man got it in too. When we all started that, we started with no customers. We just had product. Then somewhere along the line, you start building up your clientele. When you take that same mentality and put it into something legal, come on. That's it. But, and again, it's not, because we was watching something yesterday, you know, what was it, niggas in Baton Rouge. And it's like, they on demon time because they grew up no mother, no father, right? And so nobody's giving them no guidance. And listen, I don't fault them, right? But it takes somebody that been there to be able to guide them. Like, listen, man, take that same energy, let's do this. So.
How difficult was it for you coming out of jail and trying to turn your life around and move in the legal route?
It was hard. When I got out of jail, they took everything. I had to pay back $90,000 in restitution. They took my truck, bank accounts on zero. I only had one homie out of everybody that I looked out for when I was in the streets. He came and gave me a cable van with left the tags on it, because I know how to tint windows. That was my thing. So it wasn't like I couldn't make money, but I just didn't think tinting was cool. And he was like, man, get back on your tinting shit. And I just started grinding. And it was a hard grind. I had to work for somebody. I'm like, man, I'm used to owning the shop. Now I gotta work for you. But it made me humble, it made me dumb down my ego. And now, you know, I got a successful business. You know, I got athletes, stuff like that. I got a great team. Shout out to my girl Courtney. That's who's holding me down now. I got these guys on my team. You know what I mean? It's just, this is stuff that you can't pay for. And that's why I tell the youngers again, it's all about relationships. Relationships is a new currency.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. We building up a relationship.
Absolutely.
Right? So next time I call you, like, bro, I'm gonna come. It's there. It's solid. You know? So, yeah, man.
Yeah, no, relationships is definitely currency. Relationships can get you in the doors that money can't get you in.
Facts.
You know what I mean? What would you say is one of the biggest life lessons that you learned through your experiences?
Something that I tell everybody, you know, a lot of people got survivor's remorse, right? I tried to change the people around me. When I started leveling up my mind and reading books and stuff, I tried to change the people around me, but it didn't work. So then I changed the people around me. And when I did that, that's when things started to change. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went through a lonely phase. I didn't have people I can depend on and call on because those same people wasn't on my level, right? But it's all God's time. And when it was time for me to start doing this, right? I called my guy Boo Boo, and we got in. I called my other guy, AJ, and I realized, I'm like, okay, these guys believe in me. And sometimes you need that. You need that belief, you know? So it's gonna be rough. It ain't nothing easy in life. But as long as you believe in yourself, you can do anything.
Now, how did you go from tinting windows, you know, working to change your life, to then moving into, you know, the business consulting and, you know, things that you're doing now?
it was just all about taking it up to another level, you know, perfecting the brand, right? I, remaining a student, going on Instagram and doing reels is easy. I can do that all day long, but then when I was talking to my guy, he was like, man, we need a brand, right? We need something that you can stand behind. Like, you always wearing hats. And when he said that, he didn't even know he was inspiring me. When he said it, he's like, man, you always, like, we know clothes, hats, you always wearing hats. And it clicked. And instantly, I started coming up with something that I run, hey, bro, look what I sent you. What you think? Nah, we need to do it. Okay, all right. And we kept going back. There's no, nah, I'm bigger than you, you bigger than me. It's like, nah, we going back and forth, right? And then when we got it, I sent it to him. Bro, look what me and Leaney working on. He's like, man, that's crazy. And then I went and got the logo done, right? All of this, he said, man, nah, reach out to this person. They only charge this. Boom, got the logo done. Then all of a sudden the page changed. Now we got a brand. Now we got a message behind the thinking cap, right? And so it's just all about having the right team and staying humble. You don't know everything, right? If I jump in your lane, I got to remain a student. You got to tell me, hey, listen, nah, this is how we do it over here. So, yeah.
And can you talk to me more about the brand, Think About It?
Sure. So that's something I say, you know, after every reel that I do, even when I'm motivational speaking. And think about it just means, think about what you're saying. Think about your next decision. Think about how you was able to go from your worst day that you thought it was just your worst day, you weren't gonna never get out of it. Look where you at now, right? So TAI, think about it. And then the hat in the middle of the A is Romans 12:2, right? Be not conformed to this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Once you do that, life is a little bit different once you renew your mind, right? Then I'm gonna let Leaney tell you about the angel.
So when I was in, you know, I used to help. You know, when you're in the feds, you only got two things you can wear. You only wear a khaki suit or you can wear some gray sweats. So of course, us being from D.C., we wanted the fashion, you know, one of the fashion capitals or whatever for fashion. So I used to help. When I was in, I used to help dudes, you know, alter their clothes so to look, you know, if you wanted some skinny sweatpants or skinny khakis, I would help them make them, you know, design it so they put an extra pocket so when you took pictures, you wouldn't look like nobody else because everybody had the same thing on, they looked the same. So every time I used to come out, they used to always be like, oh, you fly. Damn, you stay fly, you stay fly. So that's why I came up with the you fly, but somebody had the you fly. So I heard something that was on XM. We used to have XM, and the dude was saying like, no, this equals this, and this equals that. And I was like, okay, you equal fly because you're not fly without the clothes, and the clothes not fly without you. So I changed it to you equal fly. So I was trying to research like a logo that would make sense to go with it, that because the you fly to me meant, you know what I'm saying, like still that you're flying, you're taking off, and you know, when you're in, so I did 17 years, so, you know, I wanted to take off from out of there. You know, I wanted to be out of there. So I was mainly doing what he's doing out here and there, like motivating people like, nah, you're gonna make it, you know, helping people with their law work and stuff like that. So one day I was just, you know how God works. Somebody just bought me a book and it had the cherub in it, and I just read up about a cherub, and the cherub was like a mystical being in heaven that overseeing the Garden of Eden, so it like protected the Garden of Eden, and it still had wings, so it would still fly. So I was like, okay, well, I was like, okay, so that's what I'm gonna use, and that's how I came up with it.
Right.
So how me and him got together was, like he said, I'm watching his page, and I'm talking to him, but he's so busy. You feel say he busy. I'm like, bruh.
No, he did that.
I was like, you got to get this. Like been on for like 7 months. I was like, bruh, we need some T-shirts. You gotta monetize because you know you got a big following. So I'm like, bruh, you gotta monetize your following. He like, yeah, whatever. So. I was like, bruh, come on, we gotta do it. So I was like, nah. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just make some T-shirts.
Yeah.
Then to think about it, I just came up with my own Think About It logo. And I showed it, so he like, nah.
Right. Nah. But that right there was like, damn, you know, because we can talk about something, but then when you actually see it, So when he sent that to him, I'm like, damn.
And you know it was crazy? Because I always thought about when Ray J was getting ready to be part of B2K, and then who's the other B2K dude?
Was it
Damn,
Asby, Lil Fizz?
No,
Am I talking
not Lil
about the right
Fizz, the
people?
other one, Omarion.
Omarion.
Yeah.
Omarion was like, because you know they didn't really want Ray J a part of it, but Ray J kept coming with posters with him in it already and this and that, and it clicked, and I said, oh, let me just make it and just bring it to him.
Yeah.
Then when I brought it to him, he was like, I don't want to do that, but you know what I do? I said, the hats. I said something about the hats. He was like, yeah, we just going to do hats. Then he came back. I was like, well, how you want it? He was like, well, because you know he real intricate in what he wants. He said, I want the P from the Pirates. I want the P from this. Then I want to put a scripture inside of this. I'm like, what? And I said, matter of fact, hold up. So I went to the graphics, boom, like this? He's like, nah, not like that. You feel what I'm saying? But like this, he's like, okay, like that. And he just put it in the old drive and was like, yeah. He just called me, was like, yeah, I got 300 hats. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Right, yeah. I was like, nah, I ordered them, man. They on their way. He was like, huh? I was like, yeah. I'm like, let's go.
Teamwork make the dream
Yeah,
work.
man. Because at the end of the day, why too many people want to be a boss of nothing, right? Everybody want to be a boss of nothing. Like, man, why would I not go on a business with my man? He already got a clothing line. Why would I not? Right? I didn't even know what the sheriff meant at the time. I just was like, man, he already there, right? I know I can't handle trying to get out orders and all that. I said, man, listen, this is what we gonna do. It don't matter about who put up the money for the hats and none of that. Man, we family. And that's how we are now, man.
So now we're gonna have a whole, since my line was already motivational, it just already just meshed with what his message, you know what I'm saying? So now we got a motivational line.
Word. And Lenny, doing, do you say you did 14 or 17?
I did 17, almost 17, close to 17.
Okay, so, you know, doing 17 years, how are you able to keep your mindset in a positive direction, or, you know, how are you able to like do that time and just not give up, you know, and know that you're gonna come home and do something positive? Like, how do you do that?
You know, that's a great question, and because everybody asks me that question, because they just hear the number, and they be like, I would have went crazy, and this and that. So basically, at the beginning, I think I didn't let it set in, because I was just like, I'm just here, I'm just gonna deal with it. And then, you know, when you first get in there, you know, I'm with you know, my car, which is the DC car, and you know, they run around, they wilding, but I was just different from them because I was on the street getting money. Because you know, you got the money dudes, then you got the non-money dudes that want to be around the dudes that was getting money. So at that time, I was already one of the #1 rappers in DC when I failed or whatever. So I knew a lot of people. So when I was coming in, everybody still saw me from that space. You feel what I'm saying? So I was getting treated a little different, but they didn't know. Like in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I don't, because I actually had 43 years. I was like, damn, I'll come home to 2040 something. Like I'll be 70. You know what I'm saying? So what I did was, when I first went in there, I started reading self-help books. And so I just kind of started filling my mind with self-help books. And after I was in for about 7 years, somebody passed me this book called The Secret.
Okay,
By Rhonda Burns.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And when I read it, it just changed my whole mindset. It just made me think that I can actually get out of here with my mind. So I actually just studied the book and did what the book say. And one morning, I remember I went to church, and the lady was in there, was like, when you go back to your cell, take all the pictures down, do this and do that, and because you ready to leave. And it just felt like she was talking to me. So I went back in the room, I took all the stuff down, put it in the bag, and said my cell buddy came in there, he was like, bro, what is you doing? I was like, man, I'm about to go. I'm about to leave tomorrow. So this was probably like 09, mind you, I didn't even get out to 21. This is '09. And I didn't even get released to 21. So so from '09 to 21, I kept coming out every day saying that I'm leaving tomorrow. And everybody they just thought I was crazy, but that belief grew so much to the point that one day I woke up and Trump, thanks to Trump, y'all, thanks to Trump, don't get mad at me, but what happened was Kim Kardashian had helped another guy, I forgot his name, on a law that he was trying to pass, but Trump wouldn't do it for the black guy. So he got Kim Kardashian to come in, and they had changed so I was locked up for a cocaine conspiracy. So they changed the conspiracy, saying that you couldn't career nobody if they had a conspiracy no more, because it's really ghost weight. You know what I'm saying? So when they passed that law, it took my time back, and I got out.
Wow.
So I was just faithful, and I would never, they'd be like, yeah, you gotta go back to your house, and I would never say that was my home. I would never mop the floors like they would do. I'd be like, why y'all mopping the floor? This is not your house. They'd be like, nah, this is I would never do nothing to make me feel like it was mine, that I was supposed to be there. And I just kept envisioning every day me leaving. And then one day I woke up and that vision came through. It came true.
Wow. 17 years for a conspiracy?
Yeah.
I mean, that's more time than some people get for second-degree
for
murder.
murder. Exactly.
I actually had two consecutive Fed sentences. I had one in West Virginia and one in Virginia. I caught the other one while I was in jail. The other conspiracy, I caught that while I was in jail.
Yeah. Wow. Kai, speaking on like these motivational books and just motivation in general, I see you post one of my favorite people on your page sometimes, Jason Wilson, who wrote that book Battle Cry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite books. It helped me out a lot, just because it speaks to us men being open and understanding that we have to be comfortable in both our masculine and I don't want to call it feminine energy, but Yeah,
you gotta have a soft side. Like even the hardest gangster in the world, you got a soft side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I do every morning. When I wake up, I'm up every morning like 4 something, maybe 5 something, and I'm dropping a prayer in the story, and then right after that, I'm searching for motivation. I'm on YouTube, I'm on whatever. I gotta have some type of motivation, right? I read the Bible. So I set my day right because I call it my armor, right? Like you got the police officers or you got the firemen. Let's just go firemen. Firemen know that when they go into a fire, they can't go in there half dressed.
Right.
They gotta put on all their armor. And that's how I look at it every morning. When I'm walking out into this world, I don't know what I'm gonna be faced with. Right? I don't know what I'm gonna be faced with before I walk out the door. So my armor is I gotta read, I gotta look at something motivational, right? I gotta have all these things to put my armor on. So now I'm good. I know I'm good. I can protect myself. And so, your guy that you like, again, that was just something that when I was looking at his page and then you get to reading his book, I'm like, man, I'm tapped in.
Yeah.
I'm tapped in, man. Like I need that motivation.
At what point did you start, seeing success online from your motivational speaking and what you were doing?
No, that's a good question. So the crazy thing about it is, and listen, y'all, I'm gonna just tell y'all not gonna have any success in your hometown. They're not gonna support you because there's always a roof that they see you hitting. So they're not gonna support you, right? So the Instagram, I remember one day I wasn't gonna post this reel, and I don't remember what I said, but I wasn't gonna post. I just didn't feel like posting, but I did it. 15 minutes after I posted that reel, I get a DM from a young boy, and he still hits me up to this day. He was 21 at the time. He said, bro, I don't even know you, but I just wanna let you know you my mentor. He was like, man, I was about to do something stupid. I was really about to do something real stupid. And as soon as I got on Instagram, your reel popped up, and I ain't do it. You don't know me, but man, thanks for being there. And he only had like 1,000 followers. When I hit him back, he was like, man, I can't believe you hit me back. Then I said, man, this is what I do it for. And so now he'll hit me every now and then like, man, hey man, this one hit home, thanks man. You know what I'm saying? So I get a little DMs like that. I got a lady called me one time from Haiti, and she still calls me to this day on Instagram. Off a reel I did, she lost her daughter, and I was speaking on grieving. And she was like, I thank you, I got through that because of you. I got women, I put out a short film about domestic violence. I had people reach out to me about that, women reaching out. So now I do a lot of women empowerment, and it's crazy because I'm a guy, right? But I saw my mother go through it. I saw women around me go through domestic violence, and listen, I know some people ain't gonna like it, but it gotta be said. Man, if you put your hands on a woman, you're a sucker. That's just it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what if that's your mother? Somebody put your hands on your mother, you ready to fight, you ready to go to war.
Yeah. Ready
But
to
then you
kill.
put your hands on your girl and you just expect everything to be cool. Back in our times, somebody touch somebody's daughter, right? That's my sister. Man, they coming.
It's on site.
On site. It's too laid back now, and it's becoming cool to just be able to do that, and that ain't right. So, yeah.
And your Monday motivation, or morning,
yeah.
your morning motivation is something that is so dope. Like I see you up at like 5 a.m, you know, posting content, you know, talking that talk, you know what I mean? And that's like the best way to start the day is by receiving some motivation. You know, like a good practice that I use, and you know, I'm always suggesting that people, you know, use, is to get up in the morning, you know, start with a few positive habits, you know what I mean? Something as simple as just making your bed, like so that you're completing something.
It creates pattern. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So people don't understand it. 21 days for something to be a pattern.
Right.
So if you want to do better, number one, you got to download some new knowledge.
Yeah.
You got to reprogram yourself. How they teach us when we was younger, you know, they programmed us like, oh man, you know, somebody disrespect you, you're supposed to emotionally react. Nah. So we gotta take that out and then download some new information.
Yeah,
absolutely. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So my morning motivation, man, it's all freestyle. It's all just stuff off the top of the dome. I never know exactly what I'm gonna post in the morning, but I can just be listening to something or watching something or whatever. Or I can have many times I done talk to him in the morning and he don't even know we having a conversation, and he sparked something, and I jot a little note. The next thing you know, that's the morning motivation.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. And I've been doing that now for like almost 4 years.
Right. And it's so important, like in the morning, to give yourself those affirmations,
Facts.
you know, to speak to yourself, speak confidence into yourself, you know, all of that. Can you talk about the EP that you released, 999?
Yeah. It took me a while to release it because, again, I'm not perfect, but I had to get out my own head, right? I go to the studio probably at least 2-3 times a week. This guy's always there. And once we record, I send it to him, right? And again, it was just 999. I was asleep one time and I woke up, but it was weird. Like it was like 3 a.m. I could hear everything. I could hear the HVAC kicking on in the house. I could hear my dogs downstairs moving around, but I couldn't move my body. But I could hear everything. And that was when God was whispering to me, and he whispered 999 to me. I never heard that number a day in my life. So when I woke up in the morning, I searched it, and it's an angel number. And it's talking about renewing and changing your life and things like that. In the UK, they don't have 911, they dial 999. And so I was like, okay, all right, God, I hear you. All right, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, that's gonna be the name of it. But then I didn't wanna, and again, we talking about music nowadays, you can't get through a whole CD. Some people putting 16, 20 tracks and only got 4 or 5 songs you like, right? So I'm like, man, nah, I'm gonna do an EP, 5 bangers. And I just went in the studio, you know, chopped it up, my man Boo Boo, he come through and he had his ear and I was like, man, you know what? All right, this is what I'm gonna release. And so I call it soundtrack to motivation, you know?
And what's unique about it is that it's an EP, 5 tracks, right?
Yep.
5 tracks of spoken word or what I call affirmations, you know, and it's over some dope beats. Like it's funny because I'm listening to it and I'm vibing to it, and I'm waiting for you to start rapping, like the beat even, like it did a break beat for a second, and I'm waiting for it to come back in and for you to rhyme something, and you just kept spitting those affirmations. And you know what I mean? Like when I got put onto it, I just started driving to it, you know, and just ride to it and can listen to it, and it's relatable to, you know, a lot of things that we go through.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, the process of doing it is just coming in the studio and just vibing. I may have gone through something that day, and I may call Boo up like, man, I need to get in, and then we'll come in there. I got to have my drink, a little bit of, you know, bamboo, and I drink that. That's my drink, man. And I drink a little bit, and then we'll talk, bounce some ideas off each other, and then I go in there, no pen, no pad, and just talk. And then, you know, this guy, he be like, nah, I don't like your energy on him. Oh, you gotta give me more. I'm like, all right. And then sometimes I'll call him in the middle of the session, like, bro, we in here cooking. Yeah. Because he live in Charlotte, right? So he be like, oh, all right, man, send it to me when you done. And then after we finish cooking, I'll send it to him, and because I know he gonna be bluntly honest. Right? And then he'd be like, man, what you just said, he'd be like, bro, I don't know what you doing. Right? What do you say? Well, I don't know if you're like, you ain't rapping. Right. Right? What you say? You're not rapping. I don't know what you doing, but man, that shit cranking. I was like, yeah, so, you know, it's just stuff that the world need to hear it, man. You know what I mean?
Nah, for sure. And, you know, people can relate to a story of triumph, a story of, you know, that goes from struggle to, you know, success. And I think you said no success story.
No success story doesn't come with struggle.
Right.
Right. And a lot of us, like, whoever's out there, y'all making struggling look good. Right? Like, you got to keep pushing. If you really want it, you gotta keep pushing. There's no rocket scientist to this. Life is gonna continue to life. Yeah. But if you really want it that bad, you gotta keep pushing. And listen, you're gonna miss some parties, you're gonna miss some graduations, you're gonna miss some things, right? But if you're really doing it for your loved ones, you're really doing it for the change, you know, the trajectory of your family, you gotta keep pushing. Right. There's a million quitters every day. Every day. I hate when I hear people talking about, man, that was my idea. Okay, well, guess what? You think you're the only smart person that came with that idea? You just didn't manifest it. You didn't work on it. Somebody else had that same idea in their head, and they did it. That's God up there like, I'm gonna give it to him. I'm gonna give it to him. I'm gonna give it to her. Oh, okay, you bullshitting. This guy said, nah, I'm gonna write it out and I'm gonna work on it. Okay, and that's why it took off.
Can you talk about how locking into your goals and your passion can strain your relationships with friends and family?
Yeah, so goals and dreams and everything, like, again, I'm a big person on writing it down, right? But then we have to watch the words we say, the universe, right? So I make sure I don't say negative things out my mouth, because the universe is gonna take it, whether it manifests today or a month from now, it's gonna manifest. Yeah. Just like my man said, man, I'm going home. It took almost, 10, 15 years, but he kept saying it. The more you speak it, the more you start to believe it, the more the universe like, oh, okay, you really believe, all right, let me go ahead and shake something, let me show you, right? So your goals and your dreams, the only difference is you locking in. That's it, that's all. A lot of us are already dope inside, right? There's a soldier inside of you that's ready to come out, but you gotta believe that. And that's me. I gave up the, nah, man, I don't think that's cool enough. Nah, man, they probably gonna look at me crazy, man. I always see this guy, Wallow. I met him a few times, right? Wallow put the battery in my back. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get a certain age, you're like, damn, man, I can't really do that no more. Yeah. Since when? Since who? You know what I mean? Like KFC, you start looking at all these different brands, Chanel, and all these, they started in their 40s.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's us, we killing our own dreams here
Yeah.
before it even come out.
Yeah.
So when I seen Wallow and everybody laughing at him because he running in the rain and all that, and now look at him, millionaire. Who's laughing now?
Come on, he
You know what I'm
laughing
saying?
all the way to the bank.
Come on.
All the way.
So that's what I'm saying. We got to stop being too cool. Like you think you can't, you worrying about the validation. I'm like, man, I don't give a fuck what you think about me no more. I'm gonna do this. And then if you don't like it, guess what? Unfollow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just that simple. It ain't for you. But I'm gonna keep doing it, man.
Right. And do you still offer like the mentorship?
Yeah.
And how can people tap in with you?
Nah, so I'm Kie Fair on all social media platforms. You know, whether YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, my website, mrfair.org. You know, I don't know when this is going to air, but in the end of this month, which is April, I'm going down to Louisiana. I'm talking to 3 different schools in one day. I'm pushing myself. Like I'm going 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, all in one day. I'm going to talk to the youngins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm doing that. Women, if y'all want to tap in, you need me to do some women empowerment. Like I got videos on my website and on Instagram, me talking to the women. You know what I mean? We got the hats coming up. That's on the website. Yeah, man, it's just all about positivity.
Nah, for sure. And something that you just said as well that really struck with me is, you know, how your words, how you can almost mistakenly manifest, you know, some things. I know I've had times where, you know, I've been frustrated or things not going my way, and I've said like, man, my life in shambles right now. And my therapist, like I was saying that to her one day, I was complaining about some stuff and I was like, man, my life's in shambles. And she was like, yeah, because you putting it out there.
Yeah.
And when I thought about that, I'm like, damn, you're right, you know, because we don't understand sometimes the power of the tongue, you know, and how strong it really is, and how when we want to get out of something, when we need to get out of something, like what, you know, Lenny was just speaking to, like, if we don't speak that into existence, then we might not ever get to where we want to get to. Because one thing that's really difficult to come to terms with is God's divine timing.
Come on. Come on.
You know, like it's, you know, you can pray and you hope that it comes tomorrow. A sign might come and you might want the end result so bad that you don't even see the sign as being steps towards taking you to what you were asking for.
Yeah, because we are looking for it to be dressed up in how we think it's supposed to come.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Instant gratification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole time the help was right here, but it was just dressed in a different format. So you don't see that, so you keep struggling. You know what I'm saying? I tell people, I'm like, at the end of the day, the person that can catapult you into a new level, right? Don't be the person that, I just put this up, remember the other day, don't sleep with the help. We always talk about sleeping with the enemies, right? And a lot of us, some of y'all are stagnant right now because the person laying beside you is not for you. So you sleeping with the enemy. But when God send you praying, you're like, man, I need a blessing, I need a blessing. All right, well, I'm gonna send you this person, whether it be male, female. Instead of you seeing that person as some help and get here, you seeing the physical.
Right.
And now you sleep with the help, and then when you mess it up, now that whole situation, now the door is closed permanently. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So watch out for sleeping with the help.
No, for sure. Can you speak on the King Kong effect?
Yeah. The King Kong effect, man.
A lot of us need that, bro. A lot of people
man.
need that.
Damn, you've been watching the reels, man. The King Kong effect, I was sitting in the bed and something triggered it. Matter of fact, it was a song I was listening to by Currency. That's one of my favorite artists.
Right.
And he said something about, I don't know, something, and it just dawned on me. And I'm like, when life is kicking your ass, right? King Kong, before he go beat up somebody, before he go tackle and everybody, what'd he do? He stick his chest out, beat it. Like, you know who you messing with. I'm coming. Okay, that's what you got. All right. I'm letting you know I'm coming. That's what we got to do when our problems is facing us. When problems is coming towards you, you can't, it ain't time for you to just, oh man, the woe me. Nah, stick your chest out, beat your chest, King Kong. I'm about to conquer this. This the best you got? Okay. You know what I mean? You got to do that because like I said, there's something inside of you that's ready to come out and fight your problems. You can't do it by yourself. There's another spirit inside you that's ready, but you got to beat your chest, wake it up, and like, all right, let's go. So that's the King Kong effect, man.
No, absolutely. Something else that you said that was really interesting to me is, you know, we'll wait in line for material things, but then, you know, we won't wait on God. And to what we were speaking on just a second ago, you know, wanting that instant gratification. You know what I mean? Can you speak on that a little bit?
No, I mean, the new Jordans come out, the line around the corner, right? Everybody lined up. But then just because there's no delivery date on your blessing or what you asked for, you start to get impatient with God. And so we won't wait on it. So now, just like you open up this space, right? I'm pretty sure it didn't take off right away, but that was a vision he gave you, right? He can't bless something unless you do it. Faith without works is dead. So you gotta wait on it.
Yeah.
But while you waiting, that don't mean stop. That means keep pouring into it.
Yeah.
Keep pouring into it. And sooner or later, he gonna bless it.
Folks thought I was crazy getting this space and you know, like having this big space. I remember I was in here all by myself with like a beach chair in my office, a 10-foot fold-out table, and a microwave, and was, you know, just putting the plans together, putting the ideas together, and having a vision for, you know, what I wanted this to be, and manifesting that, and it becoming a full creative space, a compound, you know.
No, you're a visionary, right? A lot of people, what I'm doing, what he's doing, even, you know, the guy behind, right? Everybody has opinion, just like you said, right? They had opinion on this space. They had an opinion, so they talking about it. How many people probably talk about you behind your back? You don't know. They all had an opinion on it, right? But then when this space becomes a fact, nah, that place over there, man, he doing this. Nah, he got off the porch. Now it becomes a fact. Now they like,